In the grand theater of human history, death has always been the final curtain, one scene no mortal can escape. Yet not all deaths arrive with dignity, courage, or tragedy. Some come wrapped in irony so absurd that even the gods must laugh. History remembers warriors, kings, and saints. Hidden in its darker corners lie the tales of those who fell not by fate or battle, but by foolishness. These are not mere accidents. These are testaments to how fragile and how ridiculous human existence can be. Tonight, we open the Forbidden Chronicle, book of foolish ends, a record of the most astonishing, idiotic ways mortals have stumbled into eternity. There was once a Greek philosopher named Chrysippus, a man so devoted to logic and wit that he believed laughter was a divine gift. One day, as the legend goes, he saw a donkey eating his figs. "Give the donkey some wine to wash them down," he said, and burst into such uncontrollable laughter that he died right there on the spot. The philosopher, slain by his own joke. Perhaps the gods, amused by the irony, carved his name into eternity not for wisdom, but for wit. Imagine that, centuries of study erased in one fatal laugh. Then there was Sigurd the Mighty, a fierce Viking warlord of the 9th century. He conquered enemies, burned villages, and built his legend on blood and fear. One day, after defeating a Scottish nobleman, he tied his enemy's severed head to his horse's saddle as a trophy. As he rode home, the head's teeth grazed Sigurd's leg, cutting him slightly. Wound festered. Centuries later, in the Renaissance city of Florence, a man named Pietro of Siena believed he could fly. Obsessed with the myth of Daedalus, he crafted wings of silk and wax, fastening them to his arms and leaping from a cathedral tower as a crowd watched in awe. For a moment he soared, a glorious, fleeting moment, before gravity claimed him. The city buried him with reverence. The priests whispered, "He touched the heavens and fell for it." In ancient China, during the Tang dynasty, there lived a scholar named Li Bao, who sought immortality. He brewed elixirs of mercury and gold, convinced he could defy death through alchemy. But his potion killed him instantly. His final act, the pursuit of eternal life, became his swiftest path to death. This day, his tomb bears an inscription. He reached for forever and found only ashes. In the court of King Henry VIII, one nobleman named Sir Geoffrey Hudson fancied himself the royal entertainer. He was a dwarf known for humor and bravery. During a grand banquet, he leapt from a pie to surprise the king, a stunt that made him famous. But his pride grew unbearable, and one evening, drunk on honor and wine, he challenged another noble to a duel. His opponent brought a pistol. Geoffrey, in the deserts of Arabia, a wandering merchant found what he believed was a genie's lamp. He rubbed it eagerly, not realizing it was a hornet's nest hardened by sand. The swarm that emerged ended him within minutes. Travelers still tell the tale at dusk, whispering that his ghost roams the dunes, forever seeking the wish he never received. Chronicles of Rome tell another tale of Emperor Caracalla, who once paused his journey to relieve himself by the roadside. A soldier, harboring vengeance, approached while the emperor was vulnerable and struck him down. A ruler of millions, undone while doing what every man must do. The historian Cassius Dio wrote that it was death most common to a man least common. And in that cruel twist lies the eternal lesson. Even emperors must kneel before nature. Perhaps none died as absurdly as Franz Reichelt, flying tailor of Paris. In 1912, he designed a parachute suit, convinced it would make him famous. Ignoring warnings, he climbed the Eiffel Tower himself and leapt before hundreds of spectators. The suit failed to open. The impact was immediate. Newspapers called it leap of madness. In the dusty American West, An outlaw named Black Jack Ketchum was sentenced to hang for train robbery. But the hangman miscalculated the rope length. When the trapdoor fell, the force decapitated Ketchum cleanly. The crowd screamed. The sheriff fainted. His head was sewn back on for the funeral, a grotesque attempt at dignity. Somewhere in the wind of New Mexico, his laughter still rides the desert storms. And finally, in the roaring 1920s, a magician named Charles Rowan, known as the Great Car, performed a dangerous trick, escaping from a straitjacket before a speeding car struck him. He misjudged the timing by a heartbeat. The car hit him full force. His last words to the stunned driver were, "It's not your fault." The audience applauded, believing it was part of the act. They cheered a dying man, proving once again that the line between illusion and death is thinner than we think. These are the fools of fate. In their own tragic way, they remind us, death needs no enemy. It waits inside the smallest mistake. Perhaps, somewhere in the cosmic halls of judgment, these souls gather. A strange court of jesters and dreamers, laughing at their own absurdity, whispering to one another, "We thought we could control the end, and maybe the gods laugh with them." For in the great balance of eternity, even divine beings need amusement. So remember, life is fragile, and death, though certain, doesn't always come with grandeur. Sometimes it comes with a laugh, a slip, or a single foolish thought. The crown of mortality sits on all our heads, and even the wisest among us can lose it with one careless act. In the end, perhaps the dumbest deaths aren't just accidents. They're mirrors, showing us how easily brilliance becomes blindness, and how even the smallest act of pride can summon eternity's silence. Perhaps the most haunting truth of all is this, that death, in its infinite wisdom, often chooses irony as its sharpest blade. For every great empire that rose, for every king who thought himself divine, there was always a fool who proved that the gods still ruled the stage. Even in modern times, this cosmic comedy plays on. Tools may have changed, from swords and chariots to cars and selfies, but the arrogance remains the same. There was a man in 2014 who fell off a cliff while taking a selfie near the Taj Mahal. Another was crushed by the very vending machine he kicked in anger. Somewhere, in every corner of the earth, someone becomes a story whispered between sighs of disbelief and laughter. History repeats not in wars, but in mistakes. No matter how much civilization advances, human folly remains eternal. It's as if the universe itself demands balance. For every genius, there must be a fool. For every miracle, a mistake. The same mind that builds rockets to the stars is the same mind that microwaves metal. The same species that writes symphonies also slips on banana peels. It's tragic. It's hilarious. It's us. Perhaps that's why ancient cultures never mocked death. They respected it even when it mocked them back. The Egyptians carved prayers into stone to guide their souls through the afterlife. The Greeks spoke of fate as a thread spun by the Moirai. The modern man, oh, he is different. He forgets. He believes he's smarter than his ancestors, safer, stronger, immune to the absurdity that claimed them. Yet every year, headlines tell the same ancient story. Pride before the fall, foolishness before the grave. Maybe that's why these stories endure. They're not just tales of idiots meeting their end. They're reflections of us all. Because deep down, every human carries a bit of that recklessness, that belief that it can't happen to me. And that's the real horror and beauty of it all. We laugh at them because we see a fragment of ourselves in their mistakes. Laughter is our shield against fear. Fear that one day, our own foolishness might echo through time as a cautionary tale. So when we speak of the dumbest deaths in history, perhaps we should do so with a whisper, not a roar. For the line between stupidity and curiosity is razor thin. Every discovery began as a dangerous question. Every legend began as an accident. And every fool, in his final moment, believed he was right. Maybe that's the cruel joke of existence. That even as we rise, invent, and conquer, the oldest predator still stalks us unseen. Our own human error, so laugh if you must, dear listener. But remember, next great story of foolish fate may not come from ancient scrolls or forgotten empires. It may come from your own world, from someone who mistook risk for adventure or pride for immortality. And when it does, the gods will smile again. For as